All right, I put pants on this time.
Oh, thank God.
Let's get right into it with Atrox MX with Dominant Species. All right, good start from Guadalajara, Mexico. Some groove and thrash metal. Pretty solid production. Digging the overall energy. Already got me banging my head. That's always a good sign in and of itself. And what else can I say for this one? I don't know. I think you're shooting for something, and I think you're hitting it. I'd be curious to listen to more. And if you're new here, that is what this segment is all about. Is we just sample just a little bit, like 30 to 40 seconds, and let you all decide whether you want to go and check them out for yourself. So with that in mind, let's move right along to Vile Haint with Abound with Malice. So a little bit of a kind of vibey, raw black metal there, more on the sort of droney side to an extent. Those really kind of buried, cavernous vocals in the background. I dig that approach. Fitting to this eerie cover art. And I do think eerie is probably the best word for this one. Kind of reminds me of just like when it's dark and windy out, and you just hear the wind trying to like blow through the little cracks in the window and stuff like that. It just gives off that same kind of creepy, chilling energy. So, good example again of raw black metal done effectively from, again, just what I'm hearing here. So if you want to hear more of that, go check them out. They are out of also Tennessee. Moving on, we have Throne of Roaches with Chrysalis. That sounds really rad. Another case too where really, really strong production on this one. And they are out of Sweden, but I hear the influence of both Swedish and American melodic death metal. A lot of like the Black Dahlia Murder kind of mixed in with the more kind of Gothenburg sounding riffs at times. So that's like both of those styles quite a bit. Both things I listened to a lot as I was kind of coming up in metal. And so, yeah, instrumentally really strong. I thought the vocals were good. All around really, really solid. It seems like each release is just kind of stepping things up as we move along here. But next we have Warslaughter with Exacerbación. All right, more kind of raw black metal this time, just going for a more aggressive edge. The vocals are kind of interesting because they're a little bit more on the sort of death metal-y side, but everything else from the kind of mix decisions to the riffs feels a lot more black metal, and again, fitting to this very just like gross, grimy album art. They are off of Morbid and Miserable Records from Toledo, Ohio. Doesn't say, I mean, I could go here and kind of read where they're from, but I'm not going to take up a bunch of time doing that. But yeah, seems pretty solid for what it is. I think the production could maybe be tweaked a little bit on this one, just to bring some of the instrumentation forward a little bit more, give it a little bit more of a bite. But overall, another solid listen. We've got Scognat with Afterlife. So interesting, I feel like the last one of these underground videos, we didn't get much black metal, and this time we're getting a lot of it. So this, on the more kind of depressive, mopey side of the spectrum, we have covered Scognat quite a few times before. I've lost count how many times we've actually gone over them, but another little 3-song EP here, and it sounds like if you're in for that more kind of sad boy black metal, not to put it down at all, not exactly my speed, but I know plenty of people in the audience who eat this stuff up. So if that's what you're looking for, these guys are always a good place to go for that. I say these guys, but if I remember, Skognat's a solo act. It's hard for me to keep track in my head, so I apologize if it's insulting that I don't remember that explicitly. But anyways, we got to move on to Buried Truth with Tortured Ascension.
Die for something!
Okay, I definitely could have kept going with that. You guys win so far, as far as my taste goes. That is just some bludgeoning metallic hardcore out of Lexington, Kentucky. You managed to get me really banging my head, and even pulled out a little stank face for that breakdown. So major cred for that. Little 4-song EP here, so no excuse for y'all not to check this out, I would say. So yeah, I think I might hang on to that one to finish after the listening session here. But we got to move on to Lifetaker with Herbstunde. Now that sounds really interesting. So like industrial, so they got industrial noise sludge, but also grindcore in the tags, death metal in the tags, noise punk. Very, very cool. It's like if the Prodigy got way, way, way heavier, something like that. I'm sure I could make better comparisons than that too, considering how much I love industrial music. So this is also right up my alley. And another just 5-song little EP here, not super long tracks either. So I might have to hold on to that one too. This is out of Dortmund, Germany, and yeah, I am definitely intrigued to listen to more of that. We have HATSKRØMT with Codex Serpentis. Getting all the flavors of black metal today, and this band describes themselves as true Norwegian black metal, and wouldn't you know it, they are out of Norway. Definitely was hearing all that, definitely hearing the mayhem influence, and that seems to even be coming through on this cover art with this church in the background, although specifically this is Notre Dame, I believe. I recognize those little buttresses or whatever you call these things. I almost went into architecture, but I'm sure I'm getting that terminology wrong. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting the sound that you're going for. I think production is like just right too. It's got that kind of like eerie, echoey quality to it as well. A little bit more of a live performance kind of vibe. But next up, we have Distant Voices with Mourir, Insolence. So this one describes themselves as artisanal black metal. Interesting choice. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little snooty sounding, I will say. But the music isn't, though. It's got kind of like a black hole kind of vibe. But again, solid production. This one's out of France, and I definitely kind of hear that very sort of French sound coming through. I feel like different regions black metal has like a kind of signature regional sound, and I hear that on this one. Little 4-song EP, last 2 tracks, so slightly more on the longer side. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's hard for me to like give much more talking about some of these black metal groups, because there's just like, you know, not you've heard one, you've heard them all, but like I've heard so many of all of these different styles that I feel like I'm just running out of words to describe. But all I can say is it sounds decent, so check that out. We have Gigafauna with To Windward. So a little doom, a little prog, a little maybe a touch of sludge in there, a little rock too. Mostly thinking of stuff like Baroness in particular. They have melodic death metal in the tags too, which makes me intrigued. Are there other tracks that sound a little bit different? But yeah, I really like that. Besides Baroness. There's another band coming to mind for me that's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it right now, unfortunately. But production sound great, very just vast feeling, clean vocals, really solid, great voice. Not always like my go-to kind of style, but I'm intrigued enough to maybe want to listen to more of this. So yeah, Gigafauna also out of Sweden. Check them out. We also have Turian with Blood Quantum Blues. That is interesting. So that's like a fusion of like punk, some Every Time I Die guitar work, some more kind of metallic hardcore, Employed to Serve kind of vocals, and then like an industrialized beat. So all I say here is new metal, new future heavy metal. So out of Seattle, Washington, not far from where I am here. Yeah, I am. Count me intrigued for this one too. Out of Wise Blood Records, speechless. I'm count me in. I am interested, so I might have to check out more of that one as well. We already did that one. Let's move on to Topfhelm with Sir Godric. All right, not my another one where it's not my go-to kind of style here, but a little dungeon synth from Belarus. And I will say though, this takes me back to days in the 90s on our really crappy old PC playing old games, especially like the original Warcraft and stuff like that. Not World of Warcraft, I'm talking the top-down real-time strategy Warcraft. And the music from those games, and I'm loving the little like 8-bit kind of styled knights and stuff in the background here. So great way to aesthetically like really make your entire Bandcamp page look great. That's always something that I love seeing groups go the extra mile for that. So yeah, again, not something I think about a lot or go to a lot, but it does kind of scratch a certain itch for me. So if it does for you too, check out Topfhelm. We also have Thomas Bell with If There's Something Left to Burn, Now It's Time to Burn It. So I mentioned drone earlier. Now we're going full drone, and then these guys describe themselves, or I believe it's just a solo artist. Sad folk experimental dark drone out of Toulouse, France, and I think they really captured this cover art in the music. Just that kind of like bleak, cold concrete, just no leaves on the tree, no flair here. It's just like pure simplicity and kind of just depression, captured quite well. Not my thing, not my vibe personally, most of the time. But again, I like to recommend music that other people want to check out too, that may not fit my own. God knows my taste is not the only taste out there, the only valid one. And also, sometimes things surprise me and I like to step outside of my comfort zone. So thank you to Thomas Bell for sharing your music with us. Next up, we have Sombretour with To Any World Beyond the Tomb. All right, lots of stuff coming out of France today, too. So this out of Paris. And apparently I was reading on here, Hans Grossman on drums, who you may know from Obscura, Alkaloid, and so much more. This man has been on like every freaking thing. He's like the modern day Gene Hoglan, I would say, where he's like been in every freaking band. In his case, a lot of tech death and progressive death. This seems to lean more into like prog death. A lot of different stuff in the tags here. Even death gaze, melodic black metal, melodic death metal, melodic doom. Yeah, and it was hard listening to it to kind of describe what exactly this was. It started with that very kind of melodic, kind of upbeat almost sounding stuff, and then went into this more mellow, deathy, doomy direction. Yeah, I'm stumped, but sounds very interesting. Lots of presence in the vocals. They describe also backing like some folk medieval acoustic guitars and Lynchian keyboards. Okay. A lot of stuff up my alley coming up there. So it seems like I may need to investigate this one further as well. And by the time you're seeing this video, this will be fully out too, even though I'm only seeing the 2 sample tracks right now. But for the sake of time, we need to continue forward to Mywitchmyblood with The Day the Stars Did Not Shine. Okay, some more very lo-fi, but very pissed off black metal. This out of the United States. It doesn't specify where exactly, but it does say United States in the tags. Pretty sure we've got a female vocalist here too, just from the quality of the snarls, but there's nothing here to confirm that. But I just point that out because I actually really dig that. I just think it brings a different kind of vibe and sound to the overall music, not even just the vocals. But yeah, I could be totally wrong. I've been wrong before, but that's just something that stood out to me. Yeah, just some very classic black metal. I think the production, in this case, this is lo-fi that could use a little improvement because it's like so kind of quiet and just kind of flat that I'm losing some of the presence and intensity. So you could toy with the mix and production a little bit more, but overall I liked what I was hearing just in terms of like musically. All right, Body Minus Head. That's a great name. With an exercise in self-sufficiency. All right, some more, I'm pretty sure, female vocals this time applied to some crust, and I do dig me some crust. It's another genre, though, where I, like, run out of things to describe it, because a lot of crust, it's like, okay, we get, like, D-beats and screaming and some very kind of moody, sad-sounding instrumentation. I joke all the time. I call it sad Motorhead. But, yeah, I dig it. I'd be intrigued about this one as well. And again, I apologize if I'm totally wrong about the vocals, but seems pretty clear to me. It just, I think it adds to the very just sort of like a sense of desperation coming through. The only thing in the description here, they're out of Ontario, and it just says Living, Dying, Ontario. So there you have it with Body Minus Head. We've also got Gravlund with Beyond the Pale. It seems like a little bit more kind of black and thrash sort of vibe on this one. Always a fan of that, but keeping things pretty raw and on the black metal side. Good energy. Production, again, I think you could toy with a little bit more. Keep it raw, but like, I don't know, the guitars could be a little sharper, and I don't know. It's sometimes hard for me to describe, especially as not a producer, not as somebody who like makes music in that way, to say what to change, but I think there's room for some improvements there. But as far as just like the overall energy of it, I was digging that. Also, is this that famous rock formation that's in like Star Trek and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and everything, or is this a completely different one? I'm not entirely sure. It kind of looks like it, but yeah. Anyways, moving on to Martre with Hivoris Age. Yeah, that's as close as we're gonna get. All right, a little bit more noisy, dissonant, black metal, black and death metal, a lot of stuff kind of coming together on this one. A little bit more drony too. Digging this album art. This is out of Denmark. And yeah, very just nightmarish kind of energy on this one. Yeah, dark, dark stuff. I'm always curious about the people who like make this stuff. Oftentimes I meet them and they're like the nicest, like chillest people. But then I'm like, where does this come from? Like, where in your brain does this come from, and what makes you decide to put these things together in that way? It's always interesting to me. But that is plenty for today, and that's not even all of the recommendations I have on my plate. I'm going to save some for probably later in the month with the next batch. Again, this always being the lowest performing series, I request, if you can, support me on Patreon or become a channel member. I never charge bands, though. I don't like doing that because, frankly, I think it's hard enough for you all out there as it is. But if you want to contribute, you can in that way. Recently, somebody hit reply all to like a band's request, and I saw that like they charge like €21 or something to like review their music, and this is a channel that doesn't even get like that many views per video, and it just feels icky to me. Like, I just don't like that. I'm not going to call them out because I'm sure plenty of channels do that, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I don't vibe with that. So yeah, if you want to help out, you can do that. But the best thing you can do is like share this, spread this to as many people as you can that enjoy watching things about underground music. And there's a whole playlist of these if you want to watch more. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.